Today's a really exciting day because today I'm going to show you how I make a bowstringer. First thing I do is just measure out. Okay, I got this leather at a saddle shop. I just walked into the saddle shop and I said I need I just asked them if they had any scrap leather that they were just going to throw away or whatever. First thing I do is measure off about 2 inches right there, and then I measure down about 4 inches, maybe 4 1/4. Let's go 4 1/4. Get them at right angles to each other. Measure another 2 inches down here, which will be about right there. Draw these together. So I got 2 inches by 4 1/4. And take an X-Acto knife. I used to do this with these scissors right here, but I found this X-Acto knife to be a whole lot easier to use. First I just draw along there, don't put a whole lot of pressure, just enough to get the cut going. And then after that I can just go we'll get a little bit deeper. Whoop. And a little bit deeper. And pretty soon it just gets to where you can cut it real easily. See that? What is it, Gracie? Oh. And then cut it out this way. I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, how on earth could those scissors possibly be harder than this X-Acto knife? This X-Acto knife is actually pretty dull, but it cuts a whole lot easier than those scissors do. Because this leather is really thick. Whenever you go to a saddle shop to get leather, it just comes out really thick. I probably should have put a piece of wood under here so I don't score up my workbench. Cut out the rest of it. And there we have a square. And now I want to draw a line straight down the middle of it. Where's my pen? There it is. La da da, let it roll right off your shoulders and in. Make a mark at the middle point on both ends. Draw a line. And then cut it in half. Cool thing about an X-Acto knife is you can be so exact with it. That's why they call it an X-Acto knife, I think. Alright, once I got those cut in half. Another thing about that saddle shop leather is that it's really thick. And it's not really ideal for bowstringers because it's so thick you can barely bend it. Hey Gracie, would you point the camera over here to the belt sander?
Sure.
I just sand it, thin it down a little bit. Just until it's good and pliable. That's good. Get this other one here. Okay, next thing I do is I take a leather hole punch. I don't know what size this is, but if you have a leather hole punch just like this one, it's the second to the biggest one is the one I use. And then I use a piece of cardboard because this thing is a little bit out of line. It cuts better with a piece of cardboard on there. Poke a hole in it, like so. Uh-oh, it didn't go all the way through. Okay, I went through that time. And poke a hole on the other end of it. There we go. Okay, do the same thing with the other one. If you want, you can put grommets in it. I tried that recently, couldn't get it to work very well. And this seems to work just fine anyway. I've never actually done it with grommets. Okie dokie. Now that you got those holes in there, you want to put some string. I can't remember how, this is braided nylon cord. I can't remember what the size was because I threw the package away. I meant to keep it for the sake of this video, but I didn't. And I found that the best way to get this to go through there, I tried putting a little thread through there, a piece of wire or whatever, and pulling it through, but it just wouldn't go through that hole. So I found that the best way to do is just take a little flathead screwdriver, tiny little flathead screwdriver, and just start stuffing it in there. Just stuff. This is really the hardest part of making the stringer, is getting that string to go through there. And once you get it all nice and stuffed through, then you can grab it on the other side and pull it through. I was using needle nose pliers before, but now that I discovered the use of this little screwdriver, that's not necessary anymore. Sometimes it's harder to put it through the second time, so I cut the frays off a little bit. Let's see if I can do it a second time without cutting the frays. You want to make this stringer to where the inside, where it's going to hit the bow tip, is the inside of the cowl. We want the outside of the cowl on the outside of the stringer. And the reason is because the outside of the cowl is a little bit smoother than the inside, and we want the rougher side against the bow so that it doesn't slip a lot. We don't want no slipping. Okay, let's see if we can pull that through. Ooh, it's hot out here.
Yes, it is.
Okay. And we're gonna, see, this is how we want it. There's the fleshy side, there's the outside of the cowl. We want it to where it doubles over like that, so that this side goes on the bow tip. And so the best way to do that is stick it through that side first, and when it comes out, stick it through that side. I had with this before I discovered the screwdriver. That's what prompted me to make a video about it. I thought, hey, I've discovered something that actually works. I think I'll put it on YouTube, share it with the rest of the world. Of course, everybody else has probably already figured it out. But just in case there's anybody out there who's like me and who hadn't figured it out yet, perhaps this will help. Difficult. Oops. Okay, once I do that, then I turn a knot in it. Now I'm not going to do an ordinary square knot. That's an ordinary square knot. I'm going to do something just a slightly different, where I turn it over like that, make a loop, and then I twist it an extra time, and then put that through there, and then make sort of a shape like that. And then I want to measure this about 7.5 feet. Hey Gracie, what you got? Okay, I'm going to show you how I decide to how to measure it. Well, that's how I measure it anyway. You can just use a yardstick or a tape measure, whatever. About 7.5 feet, which is about right there.
Yeah, right there.
Okay, you can put it back.
Alright, putting it back.
Okay, and I just cut that off. And I tie the same sort of knot with this end.
Really cool.
I'm glad you like that. And you twist it again. And do the knot like so. And you can make this however long you want it, you know. I just make it longer than the bow and make sure it's not too low and too high when you try to string a bow with it. So that's it. The next step, I'm going to cut this just a little bit shorter. The next step is to burn it. Where's my matches?
No, that would be a convenient thing.
And now I'm going to burn the frays. Just melt the frays, turn it all around, until it gets all black and everything. This is to keep it from fraying, obviously. Oops, too much wind. Oh, wind.
Sawdust.
Sawdust everywhere. Okay. And once that's all nice and burned, I just dip it in the water. And do the same thing with the other end. Hey Gracie, would you do me a favor? Okay, so next,
Your head's not.
put this loop on here. Now, whenever you first make these, they work a whole lot better once you got a little bit of an indentation. Do you have that, me in there? They work a little bit better when they have a little bit of an indentation on there, but when you first make it, it won't have one. So sometimes it won't. Okay. Oh, I covered that knock up too much.
Happens sometimes.
Okay, there you go.
What is up with all
Nice
these
and strong.
dogs? Is there a cat passing?